Hi, this is Andy Lipton, and welcome to Leading the Break. Today, I'll have the pleasure of speaking with Jillian Archer, a very key player for the St. John's women's basketball team. In a few months, Jillian will be getting her graduate degree, and her college playing days are going to soon be over. It's great to have you here. Um, and I kind of go back to October. I kind of remember being in Madison Square Garden, the Big East Media Day. I think you had the biggest smile of anybody there. You could light up that whole place with your smile. I've seen you play 5 games this season. Um, Always looking with a smile. What is making Jillian Archer so happy this season?
I think just having the opportunity to play is amazing. Obviously I'm a sixth year, so being able to play for as long as I have been able to is amazing. And also just being at St. John's, like this family, my teammates, my coaches, the supporting staff, they're just amazing. And it's just a joy every day being able to wake up, go to practice, play.
Obviously, besides you being a major player for this team this season, really major. One of the things I noticed watching you play is you seem to be the mother hen of this team. You really seem to, really take care of the other players. Obviously you have size, I can see the empathy you have for your teammates. How do you see yourself in that role?
It's definitely a role that I had to step into. Last year, we had a lot of experience on our team with a lot of like fifth years and sixth years. And I think just kind of like learning from them was the biggest thing going into this year. Our team is pretty young. I am the oldest on the team besides Unique. So it's really just trying to lead by example in a sense. I think the biggest thing is like as an athlete, we're very hard on ourselves. Obviously, like we're competitors. So a lot of times when I see my teammates kind of holding their head down or getting a little like nervous or scared, it's really just about trying to like pick them up and make sure that we all stay focused because like no one's going to be perfect at the end of the day. Not myself, not any of my teammates, or even anybody that we play against.
I mean, I could see that watching you on the court, and you do it in a nice way, you know.
Yeah.
So before I get into some of your background, just quickly, Big East Media Day, you started as a blonde, kind of a California blonde. Why'd you go blonde and why'd you lose the blonde?
I went blonde just to kind of try to switch it up. I think one of the ways that I like to express myself is kind of in like what I wear or like my appearance. So I think blonde was a way to kind of like shake it up for a second. And then now, just kind of trying to like focus more on obviously the Big East tournament, which is where we're at right now. And I still want to look good. I really believe if you look good, you play good, but just trying to keep it simple right now.
I gotcha. So, but are you getting a graduate degree in a few months?
Yeah, I'll be graduating in May with my master's in psychology.
Is that what you got your undergrad degree in?
Yes.
Gotcha. So, okay, so you're graduating in a few months. Your college playing career is coming to an end in a few weeks. What's going through your mind the last few weeks?
Uh, Definitely a lot of mixed emotions. I would say it's very bittersweet. Um, Obviously, I love basketball, and my aspirations are to continue to play, even though my college career will be coming to an end. I think one of the worst things, I guess you can say, is that I won't really be in like this protection bubble that I've been in while being in college. Just knowing that like every day I'm waking up and there's people who are supporting me and rooting for me, and knowing that I can like really lean on my support system, especially here at St. John's. So that's kind of like the one thing I'm nervous about going into like the real world in a sense. But I'm very just thankful. I wake up and count my blessings every day, and just having the opportunity to play basketball in college for 6 years, go to so many different great universities, and also get my degree in something that I'm passionate about is like surreal to me. So it's really sad that it's coming to an end, but I'm also very excited to see what happens next.
Talk about the journey from, the time you were a kid to USC to Georgetown to St. John. Just give us some background on your journey.
Yeah, so I started playing basketball when I was in eighth grade. Prior to that, I kind of just jumped around from sport to sport. I played volleyball for a little bit. I did swimming. I was actually in the Junior Olympics for swimming, and I did track and field. Um, I actually decided to start playing basketball because I was very pigeon-toed growing up. So my mom and I went to the doctor, and they kind of just suggested that we play a sport to open my hips up. The alternative to that was to get surgery, corrective surgery, and that just didn't seem like a great idea for my family and I. So I started playing basketball. I was very fortunate to play for a travel ball team called Cal Storm. It's one of the bigger travel ball teams in California. And my travel ball coach, his name is George Quintero. He's like probably my biggest like mentor in life when it comes to basketball and also off of the court. So playing basketball, initially I sucked. You know, I was super uncoordinated. The nickname that they gave me was Bambi, just because I was so awkward on the court, still trying to grow into like my length and size. Um, I unfortunately had a lot of injuries after I started playing basketball. So I had knee surgery my freshman year, sophomore year, and senior year of high school.
Wow.
It was very hard, obviously, trying to adjust to my injuries as well as trying to still compete and play at a high level to get a scholarship to play collegiately. Going to USC was awesome. Obviously, being from California, it was amazing to be able to stay at home. And I had such a good time at USC. It was definitely a great school, academically, socially, and basketball wise. But at some point, I felt like I was ready to kind of like blossom and try something new. So that's when I decided to take a jump to the East Coast. I went to Georgetown. It was really awesome being able to experience new cultures and just see something that I wasn't really used to. The weather was the worst part. You know, it's still something that I'm dealing with on the East Coast, but Georgetown was awesome. I was there for 3 years. It's a great school academically, and it was kind of my introduction to the Big East. And then now here at St. John's, I really feel like this was my home. I wish I could have spent all of my time here at St. John's. Definitely prefer New York over DC, just in terms of like location on the East Coast, but it's just been really awesome. Like I'm very thankful that I kind of took that leap of faith and left the West Coast 5 years ago because the person that I've been able to become and the people that I've been able to meet on the East Coast will impact me for the rest of my life.
Talk about some of the memories, whether on the court, off the court, in the classroom, whether it was at USC, Georgetown, or St. John's, that you think you'll take with you forever.
Oh man, there's definitely a lot. Um, I would say on the court, my greatest memory is last year at St. John's when we beat UConn. Being able to not only play in that environment, but also against such a great team, and then ultimately walk away with the W was is still surreal. Like to this day, just knowing that my team and I, like, we really locked in and we had a game plan and we wanted to execute that game plan. And we all really poured into each other, which I think is one of the most significant aspects of basketball. Obviously, there's like the skill side to it and, who makes more shots and gets more stops. But at the end of the day, just the energy that you get from your teammates and their like motivation and support on the court is probably the most important thing to me. And I really felt that day, like from my teammates, just the love and unity and empathy that we all shared with one another, but also the competitiveness and the drive to just, be great and ultimately win again.
Yeah, that was a big win. Probably surprised a lot of people too. Um,
Absolutely.
the how about off the court? Were you able to get? I mean, obviously basketball is very demanding in terms of time, and of course you got your schoolwork. But was it an opportunity to engage with other students and other activities at any of the schools?
Um, Definitely at every school that I've been to, I've been able to build a lot of relationships with people who are athletes and non-athletes outside of basketball. I think one of my favorite memories is probably my freshman year. Being at USC, it's a football school, so a lot of like tailgates and people really excited to go to the football games. And as a freshman, you're kind of trying to navigate like uncharted land in a sense. So you don't really know a lot of people. You're really just depending on your team or people that you might see in class to like feel a sense of community with everyone. But being able to go to like the first football game and just tailgate with everyone and have the love and support from the community as well was probably like my favorite memory, especially
Right.
from my freshman year. It was just so much fun to know that it was all bigger than basketball and that there's just so much life and love outside of the sport.
When you grew up, were you a UCLA fan, a USC fan? Like what was
Yeah.
which one?
I was definitely a USC fan.
Okay,
My family was really big, fight on. So that's why it was such a amazing opportunity to be able to go there. Generally, people thought, that I would go to UCLA just because Westwood is definitely closer to Santa Monica. But as far as like football and basketball goes, we were definitely USC fans in my household.
cool. Um, so talk about academics. Were there any favorite courses that you kind of really liked? Any professors you really liked that you kind of carry with you?
So I actually didn't know what my major was going to be until the end of my sophomore year. Once I had got to Georgetown, I really kind of struggled with the academic adjustment from USC to Georgetown, with Georgetown being such a prestigious school academically. And I had a conversation with my assistant coach at the time. Her name is Nikki Geckler. And she basically just asked me like what my passions were and what I wanted to do. And that's when we kind of realized that psychology was probably like the best route for me. I'm definitely more interested in the clinical side of psychology, trying to get into sports psychology specifically. So I actually took a course my junior year at Georgetown, which was sports psychology. And that class just kind of like paved the way for my aspirations for my career and really just kind of like locked in on what I wanted to do. I would say my favorite professor is Dr. Navarro. I just had her last semester at St. John's. And although it was my stats course, we're not going to talk too much about stats because, I wasn't as successful as I would have hoped to be. But she just made it really fun. Like stats is a hard class. Obviously, numbers where you kind of get used to like using calculators and stuff like that. But having her teach and just like how engaging she was and she was super nice. Like I always looked forward to going to her class.
I gotcha. The so is that something you really have your mind set on after maybe a professional basketball career?
Yeah, I'd love to open my own practice and do sports psychology for like professional athletes as well as like, amateur athletes.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
Thank you.
When you came to the East Coast, I guess I would imagine your parents were a little disappointed because they couldn't come watch you in person.
They definitely were. I'm a very family-oriented person, and being back home my freshman year, they were able to come to every game. They were honestly just kind of popping up on campus, like any opportunity that they got. So that was a huge adjustment for me. I really don't have any family on the East
Yeah.
Coast, but with like FaceTime and social media, I've been able to really stay in touch with like my family and friends back home. And they're always supporting me no matter where I'm at. So hopefully that continues as I kind of go on to play maybe overseas after this year.
So before we get to the basketball side, I noticed on one of your bios, I forgot which school it was, that you like to write poetry. Do you still like to write poetry?
Yeah, that's still kind of my thing.
Obviously, you made the tournament last year, the NCAA tournament. I'm sure you guys have high hopes. You're a three seed in the Big East tournament. That's really a big accomplishment. Compared to some of the talent you had last year, I was kind of wondering about this year's team, but you guys really have put it together. You know, when I've watched you play, the thing that I really like is the connection. You guys all seem connected on the court. Um, there's a lot of unselfishness. Um, and I think you guys have really achieved this year. Um, Now you're going to the Big East tomorrow night. You'll be playing either, I guess, the winner of Georgetown Xavier. Um,
Yes.
um, I think the odds favor Georgetown. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. But I mean, you've played your former team now four times. Last year you won twice. This year you split. Um, what's it like playing against your former team?
Um, I would say there's definitely just a lot of competitiveness. Georgetown is still like a great team, great school. It's bittersweet playing there just because I have like friends and stuff still on the team, as well as just like the memories that I have in that gym. But I think that I approach it like any other game. You know, there's definitely no like animosity. It's not like I want to beat them any more than any other team just because it's Georgetown, but really just making sure that I come out focused, that, you know, regardless of like who I'm playing against, I'm still trying to just be the best that I can be that night.
So you guys have had a lot of really nice wins this season. Um, and I'm sure you guys are excited like crazy. Are you guys nervous about the tournament? Is there kind of nerves going in? Or do you feel, hey, this is an opportunity for us to really show who we are?
I think, you know, I can't speak for everybody on the team, obviously in regards to like if, whether or not they're nervous, but I would say for myself, I'm not nervous at all. You know, I believe in this team so much, and just seeing like what we accomplished as well as the adversity that we've overcome. And I've seen us show up on big nights, on nights where I thought we wouldn't show up. It didn't even matter. So I think that this will be like a great opportunity for us. Obviously, we finished third seed, which was a lot higher than anybody kind of anticipated us finishing. But there was no doubt in my mind that we can finish top three in the conference once everybody got here over the summer.
Gotcha. Well, listen, first of all, best of luck in the tournament.
Thank you.
Congratulations, on getting your graduate degree soon. And thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was awesome.
All right, great to see you, really. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.